Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good morning and afternoon, everybody. Mike Anderson here with American Independent Marketing. Appreciate you making your time available today. We're going to spend a few minutes here and give you an introduction into Mutual of Omaha's new long-term care product portfolio called the Custom and Secure Solution portfolio. Rollout Timeline, most of you are aware of this, but just in case it's been out for a while, the last day to date applications for the current gold product is Sunday the 15th. The new product will launch on Monday the 16th. The absolute drop dead date for gold applications to be received at Univita is September 23rd. We have been told by Mutual of Omaha that they will not be making exceptions for date issues in any way, shape, or form. Before I forget, we are recording this, so right now we are in lecture mode. If you do have a question in the near term, you can go ahead and type it in, and it'll send me a little note here that you have a question. Otherwise, we'll open everything up here when we get to the end in about 25 minutes or so. All right, initial state availability. Most of you have heard about the Interstate Compact. Currently, 37 states are members. Those states, you can see the list here. And these are the folks that will participate in the initial availability. No telling really on the 4 original partnership states and when they are going to make an appearance with this in a non-partnership version. And then in addition to that, you have other states. Florida comes to mind as an example where you have a heavy regulatory footprint. And so there's no real telling when the Floridas of the world are going to join the party here. Marketplace continues to evolve. The more things change, the more it seems like they stay the same. Some new things that we're beginning to see is gender-based pricing, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit with the marketplace. It will include Mutual of Omaha going forward. You're starting to see new underwriting requirements out there on a more general basis, including parameds. The expectation is if that experiment is a success, then other carriers will in all likelihood gravitate to it. The current pricing point that we have reached as an industry requires more creativity and plan flexibility, but we feel good about that because we bring that to you with these Mutual of Omaha products, and we believe that creativity will carry the day when you're trying to help your clients going forward. So what's changed? The product options are consolidated down from the previous portfolio had 5 options. This portfolio now has 2. They'll be using the Mutual of Omaha name only, so there's no more United of Omaha. Again, there is gender-based pricing is being implemented here. And the last thing that's changed that does have some effect here is that we're seeing a bigger and bigger gap between what we call the client-provided health history on the application and what's coming in on medical records. And we point that out simply because it is creating more of a problem for everybody. We wish we had a great solution, but the simple truth seems to be that there are folks out there who don't have any qualms about not being completely forthright when you're trying to do the field underwriting. What hasn't changed? Well, the prolonged low interest rate environment is still here. It's been more than 5 years now, and I think we'd all agree if somebody had told us back in 2008 that we'd still be fiddling with this now, we would not have believed that. The other thing that's important that hasn't changed is client need. You see the same stories that we do. The belief is that the clients need this product more now than ever. The baby boomers are coming at us to the tune of, I think I saw a number that it was like 10 or 11,000 a day are changing over reaching age 65 or 60, whatever the age is there. So you got large numbers coming at you in big time. And the other thing that hasn't changed is, even though it's more affordable across or more expensive across the industry, you still have to be able to make the sale at the price point where affordability lives, and we will talk more about that here in a few minutes. Mutual of Omaha, most of you know this. Worth pointing out, just kind of as a refresher, the stability is the new watchword. We'll talk about that in just one second. and there is no carrier that's better as far as that goes, and the brand name recognition is huge with baby boomers. I saw just yesterday a survey that had been done by large agency group amongst its agents about what the 10 most important things were as they were moving forward, trying to work with their clients. Number one on that list at about 70% was carrier strength. And again, no carrier out there is going to stack up any better than Mutual of Omaha does, and when you combine that with its ongoing role as a product innovator, we feel that's very, very important. Also worth noting out there, and a little bit alarming, much farther down the list than we would have thought, at about 31%, was availability of cash. We think that is huge. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but that one was a bit of a surprise to us. Carrier strength, we were pretty sure that we would see that very close to the top. So now we're going to take a side-by-side look here at the two constructions. For those of you who have written the Assured Solutions Gold product, you will find as we move through this that Custom Solution looks very, very much like the Assured Solutions Gold. If you took a fancy, for whatever reason, to the MutualCare My Way portfolio, I think you're going to find that the Secure Solution is going to look a lot like how that looked. All right. The Custom Solution, it's a face amount pool construction, if you want to call it that, or pool delineation. It does have cash at 40%, and it does have an enhanced group of optional features, better partner benefits, better return of premium options along the way. Issue age, there is a change there. The issue age now at the minimum is 30. Partnership qualification, that's an ongoing process. We just got an email late yesterday afternoon, and they're making significant progress on getting that taken care of, and that's important because we've introduced some new inflation options, which we'll see here in a few minutes, and those are going to be, having those approved as partnership options will be important to you. So now, the policy limit max to start with is $500,000, all right? The monthly max to start with, $10,000. You've got a number of different elimination period options. About 84% of what is written at the 90-day mark, and both opportunities have that built in. Okay. Cash, a big differentiator kind of early in the game here. The Custom Solution has the 40% that you've become accustomed to, excuse the pun. The Secure Solution has 30%. I do want to note that both of those are initially capped at $2,400 per month. What that means is that the maximum starting cash your client can have is $2,400 a month. Once inflation takes effect and begins to cause the monthly benefit and the pool to grow, then you'll go past that. It's just the starting cap. Also worth noting that the greatest majority, more than half of the business that we are seeing written, is being written between $4,500 a month and $5,500 a month in terms of benefit amount. So most of the clients you're working with will not see any pinch or restriction by virtue of this starting cap on the cash. Okay? And it is worth noting as well, the EP is calendar day once again. All right? You've got the option to take your assisted living or your home health care down from 100% of nursing home down to 75 or 50. Do keep in mind, if you exercise that option with home care, you will be reducing the cash amount by a corresponding percentage. Okay, respite care, the built-ins, you're familiar with these. Okay. Shared care is available on both platforms, as is the spouse security benefit where approved. We have some states that will not approve it. As you can see, joint waiver and survivorship are only available on the Custom Solution platform. And I can make this presentation available in slide form for you if you would like, because I know we're moving through it kind of quickly, so don't worry about scribbling down notes. Waiver of elimination period for home care is available on both sides, as is non-forfeiture and a new feature, which is return of premium, which is a 3 times your initial max monthly benefit. So that would give your client $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 ROP, which could function as a little bit of a final expense policy. And it is less claims paid. And then obviously the other options are available as well. And we are keeping the 200% home health care professional benefit as well. This is a key part of the enhanced version of this here that we're going to talk about now. Inflation options, all right? On the custom side, the inflation options now range from 1 to 5% in quarter-point increments. In addition, we've added 2 new caps at 15 and 10 years. Also, in addition, on the custom side, you've got that guaranteed buy-up that has been there, where you can buy your way up from 1 to 2 or 3 to 4, whatever it is, on the policy anniversary. One note there, that guaranteed buy-up is capped at 20 years of policy life or age 75, whichever occurs sooner. Given that our average client now is 56 years old, that pretty much works right within that. Now, if you're going to elect to work with the secure solution, you're going to have a little bit of restriction, if you want to call it that. With regard to inflation protection options, you get 3, 4, and 5% compound for life. You get 3 or 5% capped at 20. And it is worth noting on both sides, what was previously future purchase option as the fallback position. For example, if you were front loading, future purchase option has gone away. The no inflation option is none. All right. A little bit of movement on the discounts. The married both discount has been lowered from 35 to 30. Everything else on the chart is static from where it was previously. And you'll notice down here we've got a new discount, and we'll talk about that in more depth here in a minute, and that is the common employer discount. All right. And premium payment modes right now are limited to lifetime, but the carrier has filed the 10 pay, the 20 pay, the single pay, all those kinds of things. So presuming that this interest rate environment changes enough for those options to be palatable to them, it is a possibility that you could see them, no guarantees, but it is a possibility that you could see them a little ways down the road. Okay, so now, common employer discount. This is new, all right? And this gives you a little bit of a mini worksite play, as you can see here, all right? You got to have 5 or more people who share a common employer. If that's the case and these people all come in together at the beginning, they all get a 5% discount. And for those of you that were working with the Mutual of Omaha product when we had the Association of Retired Americans, and you've been involved in other affinity situations, you know just how heavy a drumbeat that creates for folks to transact just that 5% discount, okay? You don't have to have a group approval. There is some paperwork that comes in with it, but that's not any kind of a big deal. You indicate that common employer allowance on the app. And the nice part is anybody that gets added in at Amalgamated Widget after you set it up for that group, they will get that 5% as well. And as you can see, because of an interpretation with regard to Title VII, payroll deduction is not an available option, okay? To do that would require gender-neutral premium rates, and Mutual of Omaha does not have that, as you know. All right, so we'll stop here real quick and see if we've got any questions on any of the things that we've covered so far before we move forward. Again, if you have questions, go ahead and key them in over there on the control panel, and it'll show me that we have that, and we'll see if we can get everything covered. Once again, if you have questions, you could type them in on the control panel. It'll fire them over to me, and then we can get those answered while we're taking a quick break here. Okay, we'll move on. So now we talked a little bit a few minutes ago about price point, which is our new reality in this marketplace. Well, now the questions come pouring in. All right. Okay. First question, if you're appointed only with United of Omaha right now, they are coordinating what we're going to call a blanket transfer. They're going to basically use a transmittal and get everybody moved over to Mutual of Omaha. All right. And then as far as dividends, that's a decision that the carrier makes. Currently, they haven't paid dividends, and they do that primarily so that they feel like they're going to be in a better position to try to keep rates as stable as possible going forward. Don't know the answer on the Comdex presentation question, so I'll do some research and find out. Comdex, the difficulty with that is that it's privately held, and so you're trying to pick it up off the internet, and sometimes you may have a newer number or an older number. Any other questions before we move on? Yes, cash available from day one, even though the elimination period has not been satisfied. When your client is determined to be benefits eligible, they'll get the pro rata cash payment for that month. Moving forward, they'll get the cash disbursement at the beginning of each month as they continue. It will stay that way until they notify the carrier that they want to change to reimbursement. Other questions? Okay, we're going to move forward. So now, price point, the new reality. It's, this is about where we were as opposed to where we are now. And again, the carriers are still working to thrive in this lower interest rate environment. And the simple truth of the matter is, as things change and things being pricing changes, we're reaching a point where, as it says here, if plan configuration X is all they can afford, then that's what you got to work with. All right, and more of a focal point now than perhaps ever before is the ability to make people feel comfortable transacting, purchasing now rather than waiting longer, hoping that it's going to get to be better. We'll see, because we know that's not the case. So now, inflation options, we've made 3 key changes that we touched on before. We've got lower points, we've got lower increments, and we have capped options. And we'll take a look at all 3 of those here in just a minute. So now, as I said at the beginning, lower inflation points have the ability to go all the way down to 1% compound. All right. Just to give you a rough idea, 1 percentage point differential is about 26% premium difference at age 55, and that's our average transaction age. All right. Right now, about 18% of what's being written is written with either future purchase option or with the none option, when in some cases where that's allowable. All right. We still do have the guaranteed upgrade option only on the custom side. And as I said before, that expires after either 20 years or age 75, whichever is earlier. And this is one of 3 great ways that you can lead your client to that price point where affordability lives for them. And it is worth noting 1% inflation will increase benefits by 1/3 in 30 years. 1.5% increases benefits by more than 50% in 30 years. Okay, partnership qualification, good question. Initial options less than 3% now are not partnership qualified in most states. However, in the last 2 days, we have seen more than a dozen states approve various versions of this. We will continue to get that information out to you, but worth noting, Texas, as an example here, has approved 1 through 5% compound lifetime as partnership approved. So you're going to now have the ability to give your clients lower inflation to keep that price down and still give them that. If that partnership is important to you or important to them, you're still going to be able to do that. We anticipate that in relatively short order, the larger majority of the interstate compact states are going to follow suit in some way, shape, or form. Now, again, this will not have anything to do with those 4 original states. That'll be a whole different situation. All right, quarter-point increments. All right, you can see the numbers here. A quarter-point increment is about 6.5% either increase or decrease in premium. On an average couple sale at about $4,600, that's $299. All right, a half-point move there, nearly $600. We've got a little bit of experience with this, having brought capped options to the market more than 20 years ago, and what we've learned experientially is the clients are perfectly content with the understanding that they have a finish line or that they have a lower benefit, because they also have the understanding that they're going to save $600 a year over the case of 20 or 25 years, which could be $12,000 or $15,000 for them, and that they believe that to be real money. And so not going to be as much of a problem as you might think. Okay. Now also capped options. You're familiar with the 20-year. A lot of you have written the 5% 20-year. Well, we're now able to make 20, 15, or 10 as a cap available on all of your custom inflation options. You can buy 2.5% capped at 15 years. Whatever it is you want, you can work with. And this still does include that guaranteed upgrade option. So you got a lot of flexibility and a lot of ability to move around and get your clients to that price point where they're going to be comfortable. Okay. Now, some other things that have changed that you might want to give consideration to. The home health care waiver is now 15%. It was 9% previously, so that tells you that there's probably a higher cost associated with that when you go on claim as you would anticipate. It's costing a little bit more. If you were a big fan of that, you might want to take a look at it. The cash does a really good job of taking care of that home care piece. 60-day elimination period is now 17% more than the cost of the 90-day, which is the base rate. Again, that's a sizable number. An assisted living facility, which is 10% reduction if you take it down to 50%. We see that a fair amount right now with the gold and the 50-50 configuration using the 50% cash. And it's worth noting that in most of the country, if you're selling relatively close to the cost curve, that your assisted living typically tracks at about 50% of the cost curve. And that's based on looking at these national studies that all the different carriers have done. So if the cost of care in the area that you're at is $6,000 and you're selling relatively close to that, you're not going to put your client in any great jeopardy by moving that assisted living facility down to 50% of that. That is the least expensive piece in most of the country, the least expensive piece of this long-term care puzzle. So now, if you were working with $4,500 a month, 3-year benefit period, and 3% compound currently with gold, here's some things that you can do within the structure of the custom solution and the secure solution to keep your clients in that same price range. Okay, as you can see, you can apply that 20-year cap in combination with reducing that ALF to 50%, or go 3.5% compound for 15 years and keep your ALF at 100%. We're just giving you some different ideas here. We've got lots of these, and we'll spend lots of time working with you on sort of perfecting your skill set around this so that you know exactly or what 2 or 3 options are that you can move to take care of your clients. An additional look here with that same, you could go 2.5% with a 20-year cap, 2% lifetime, any number of different possible ways to go, but the bottom line is you're able to put a configuration together for them that includes cash, which we talked about before, far more important than perhaps the agents give weight to, but we know that cash is king, and we know that it's going to introduce a level of flexibility for your clients at claim time that they really aren't going to value until they're in a situation where they're able to deal with that. Because if they don't have cash, if they've got a policy that doesn't include a cash benefit, the way that everything plays out will be dictated to them by contract language. All right. If they've got cash and they qualify for benefits, they're deemed to be benefits eligible, they begin getting that check, and they keep getting that check every month, and how they use it to take care of their need, how they use it is up to them. Okay. Now, if you're using 5% compound, here's some different ways you can go. Again, the 20-year cap, and most of you have seen that in action at some point in time. Or go with 4% inflation and use that 50% ALF. And there's a lot of other ones. We just wanted to throw a couple, 3 out to you right away just to show you that it's there. So now, software availability. We're getting some questions on that. The WinFlex version, which is Mutual of Omaha's version, that's going to be available on Monday, as will StrataCision. You'll have to do the necessary downloading and such. The MutualCare solution software, it's currently being beta tested. I mean, literally as we speak, we have people that are in there tearing it apart right now to make sure that everything works and it does what it's supposed to. We hope to have it available for you within a couple of weeks. There were some holdups on that were not on our end, and we're trying to move out from underneath those so that we can get it out to you right away. If you haven't, to get the WinFlex, if you want to have the full illustration software, you're going to want to get yourself set up, if you don't already have one, with a username, a sign-in, if you will, on Mutual's Sales Professional Access System, because you will need to go there to get the pieces for the WinFlex software. And if you have WinFlex as a result of using another carrier, you're going to want to download the Mutual of Omaha pieces in there. I'll be here at 6 o'clock Monday morning. It just turns out I'm the early guy that day, and I would certainly be willing to spend some time and walk you through the steps on the WinFlex side to get that. And it's worth noting, if there's issues with StrataCision on Monday, that's a result of a StrataCision issue. We know we've been assured by Mutual of Omaha that they've given them everything they need to have their build ready to go, and so they're a little bit held hostage with that. So just a competitive comparison to take a quick look at. The four of the big kids that are out there right now. And again, I can send you this, so there's no need to start scribbling furiously, but it does show that the MutualCare product fits nicely within the landscape that is there, and in some cases you have some competitive advantages. The cash is one of those, obviously. The 3% or the 3 times initial benefit ROP, we think that's going to be a nice, tidy little feature that folks are going to like. Inflation. We are quite confident that this range of inflation options here, you're going to find it to be extremely helpful for your client. They did take the 5-year rate guarantee away. We don't see that as a great issue, and the simple truth of the matter is, as one of your brethren, if you want to call it that, with LTCFP said a while back, if these are moves the carriers feel like they need to make to keep doing what they're doing and keep us doing what we're doing, then those are the right moves. All right, and again, we talked about discounting previously. You can see a recap of the discounting here. And that brings us to the end of the program. If you're an agent on the Golden Care side, there's contact info. Most of you know us here at AIM. You can see my phone number. My office hours are, generally speaking, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. The notable exception is that dreaded Monday early shift when I'm here from 6 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. So we are going to move over here and take questions. Website for Mutual of Omaha's Sales Professional Access is mutualofomaha.com. Good question, Janet. www.mutualofomaha.com. In the upper left-hand side, you'll see a pull-down that will allow you to change it from, I think it's client to sales professional. So now, to facilitate a little easier handling, except for Tom Varner, who didn't put in the audio pin, I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody so we can just handle the questions directly. And it looks like Connie Henderson's going to need to put in that pin as well. I'm chipping everybody off here as we move through real quickly. And also, Juanita, you too. Let's see here, Markowitz, Cooper Smith. Okay. We should have everybody, not everybody, but we've got most folks unmuted here. And as others go ahead and hit that, enter in that audio pin, we will be able to answer their questions. Mr. Cooper Smith, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I'm new with the Partners Group, and this is good information. I'm just hoping that you can send those slides that you mentioned you would send, at least to those on the call.
I absolutely will. I'll get those out of here. Anybody that wants them, I'll go ahead and give you my email address. Again, most of you have this. I've talked with or worked with you at some point in time or other, but it is mike.anderson@whyaim.com. Shoot me a note. Let me know you're looking for slides, you're looking for apps in a particular state, whatever. For those of you who have transacted with Mutual or United. In the last 18 months, you should be receiving a kit this week that'll have some apps to get you rolling, and my understanding is whatever state you transacted in or states, you will get apps for those states. If you feel like some other new state is really going to burn a hole in things for you, and you want to send me a note, I can get you an app from a different state other than the ones that you might have transacted in. Okay, and yes, we covered that. All right, any other questions out there? Again, Tom, Juanita, you're going to have to hit the, oh, look, Tom Varner. Attaboy, Tommy. Okay, there he is. All right. Anyway, just trying to get everybody
I'm in.
to the party. That's right. Other questions out there? Let me go back.
Mike?
I'm going to. Yes.
Mike, it's Janet Washburn. How are you?
Hi, Janet. I'm good. How about you?
Great. I want to thank you for keeping this presentation simple and concise. It was just very easy to absorb. Really liked the way that you presented the information. I do have a question. As with a couple of other carriers in the past, when they rolled out something brand new, they simultaneously also let us know that there would be a filing to raise, existing policyholders. So on the older products. So I wanted to know, are you aware if there is any plans to immediately file for increases on the gold or the cash first plans?
No, they have not said anything to us about that. So if they have if that's part of their plan, they're keeping it very close to the vest.
Thank you.
And remember, part of that is that the gold product is still active. The states that are left, which is 13 minus 4, which is 9 states, and you happen to live in one of them, those are all going to be a hill-to-hill fight to get approved. And I don't think they want to get the cart in front of the horse. And I think right now, given that they refreshed just a couple years ago, they're still pretty comfortable with how the gold is priced. So anyway, I wanted to get back here real quick so we could get those dates up for everybody just so they have them. That 9/23 date, as I said before, that's hard and fast. They've told us there aren't going to be exceptions. So now, and this is just human nature, if you get yourself to the middle end of next week and you think you're going to have a problem, get on the horn, let us know, and we'll give you the information that you need to be able to send that application electronically. We'll just have you email it right into the service center, and that way you can get that taken care of and beat the deadline. Don't worry about the check if you've collected it. We'll work out a way for you to handle that after we get the app in. The single biggest thing, I'd prefer to not have to have you spend $50 on UPS, except for Varner. He can spend that. That's okay. But I don't want anybody to have to spend that money if they don't need to. So what we'll do is have you send it in electronically, and then we'll hold until we have a policy number, and then we'll have you send the check to the lockbox. And that'll just make it easier for everybody. So, all right, more questions here. Loan for UPS. Okay, I'll cover that with you, Tom. All right.
You should have the. I was going to say he should have the discounted FedEx rate, which would be $13. Yeah.
Okay, I like it. See, there's somebody helping you out there, because inevitably somebody's going to get jammed up and have to use that. So you probably won't need a loan. Just turn Ben's piggy bank upside down and shake out some of that racing money, and you'll be okay.
Mike?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It says here the agent use only brochure is available. Is that available now?
I think it is. I mean, we only have it electronically, but let me,
okay.
I think I can round one up, and what I'll try to do, again, if you want it, let me know, and I'll get it out to you. But that basically means you can't use it in a presentation or
No, I realize.
Yeah.
But it is available electronically now on the site.
Well, I think it's available on SPA. Let me check and see if we have it available, and I can get it out to folks right away.
That'd be fine. Great.
Okay. All right. Other questions on anything that we've covered here today? Okay. Well, I'm going to take that as a good sign. Go ahead, Thomas.
When the new software comes out, is it still going to be as wonderful as the current software?
You better believe it. It's every bit as spiffy, just a little bit different color scheme, but it does a great job of incorporating all these new options for you. And the output pages will be the same ones that you're familiar with. So we're quite excited that will stay that way, and that's why we're taking a few extra days and making sure that we've got all the bugs chipped out of it before we ship it out to you. Once we have that available and get it onto that ghost site where you can download it, I'm going to broadcast that information out. I'll get it out to Janet. I'll get it out to the sales leaders and ask them to get it out to everybody so that they'll have access to it literally that day, and then you can start going forward. Okay? Good
Cool.
question. Anything else that I can help you with? You got to quit typing them and then asking them. All right. Okay. All right. Once again, for those who don't have it, my email is mike.anderson@whyaim.com, whyaim.com. Anything I can do to help you, feel free to send me an email. Again, if you transacted in the last 18 months, you have a kit on the way to you from the states that you transacted in. If not, and you need apps for whatever state, let me know, and I'll get you the electronic versions in the near term. As soon as we have printed versions available, and we should have them here very, very quickly, we'll begin firing them out of here to folks as fast as we can. Same thing with the underwriting guide to get you up to speed and ready to go as quickly as is possible. Okay. Again, last day to date current applications with Gold is Sunday the 15th. First date of availability for the new product and the software. It's not going to be available on StrataCision or WinFlex until it'll be Monday. And we will be here to answer any questions that you'll have moving forward. And just keep in mind that the market is moving in a direction. This is just the latest. There have been, I believe, 5 pricing basis changes or new product versions that have come out in the last 2 years within the marketplace. So it's going to continue to evolve. We believe that we have given you a number of tools within this new construction to be able to keep the price point, as we said before, at a point where it's affordable for your clients and enable them to get started now rather than waiting until later. So with that, I'll make one last call for questions, and if there are none, we'll go ahead and wrap everything up. I will get this over to Tracy at World Headquarters and go ahead and let her upload it onto your site. So if you wanted to circle back and take a look at anything, you can do that as well. All right? Okay. Thanks for your time, everybody. Have a great afternoon, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon. Bye now.